Imagine reaching into an old drawer, lifting the lid on a dusty box, and discovering a single copper coin that could rewrite your financial future. Welcome to the remarkable world of the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of American history that's shocking collectors today with values soaring as high as $942,000, and in rare cases even pushing into the millions. Sounds unreal, right? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this humble penny has become a golden ticket for everyday people looking to escape financial stress and step confidently toward a wealthier lifestyle. Before we go deeper, consider this. How many times have you held a penny without even looking at it? Tossed it into a jar? Slid it across a counter without a second thought? What if the very coin you've overlooked your entire life is the one that could change everything? And what if someone else recognizes its worth before you do? That little jolt you feel right now. Yes, that's the fear of missing out. Don't worry. By the end of this story, you'll know exactly what to look for. The journey of this 1942 penny begins in a time of global uncertainty. America had entered World War II, and resources were stretched thin. Copper was essential for military equipment, which meant even the mint had to adjust. The nation was focused on survival, but in that chaos, something extraordinary happened. Millions of pennies were struck, yes, but not all of them were ordinary. A rare handful left the mint with remarkable errors, subtle variations, and distinct characteristics that collectors today treat like treasure for one simple reason. These mistakes were never meant to exist. If you've ever wondered why some coins suddenly explode in value while others remain pocket change forever, the answer is rarity, demand, and condition. This coin sits at the intersection of all three. Only a fraction of 1942 pennies survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Even fewer exhibit the high-grade brilliance and sharp details collectors obsess over. And then there are the holy grails, the error coins. These unusual variants are the reason bidders battle at auctions with numbers most people only whisper about. Imagine an ordinary person walking into an appraisal office with a penny worth more than their house, or several houses. It has happened, and it continues to happen. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. The 1942 penny has a mystique that draws in collectors, historians, and wealthy buyers. Some of them want it for its wartime connections. Some want it because they see it as a strategic investment. Others simply want to own something that almost nobody else has. And you? You might already possess one without knowing it. That's the part that creates real excitement. At any moment, someone, a retiree, a veteran, a young couple cleaning out a family estate, discovers a 1942 penny that transforms their financial reality overnight. Now, let's talk numbers because the value is where the magic truly unfolds. A standard 1942 penny in average condition may only fetch a few cents, but a high-grade example with blazing luster can reach thousands. A rare specimen in top-tier condition recently reached an astonishing $942,000. And there are collectors and investors willing to pay even more when the right coin appears. Value jumps unpredictably. Just when you think the market has peaked, a bidding war erupts, and the final price skyrockets beyond expectations. That uncertainty, that chance of explosive reward, is exactly why so many people chase coins like this, and why your own collection might be the key to a wealthier lifestyle. But the value of a rare coin isn't just about collectors' excitement. It's also a reflection of opportunity, your opportunity. Many people overlook old pennies because they assume real wealth must come from big investments or complicated financial plans. But wealth often hides in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone curious enough to look. Maybe you've inherited a jar of coins. Maybe you tucked away pennies years ago without thinking. Maybe a family member collected coins and never told you the full story. Whatever your situation, every rare coin discovery begins the same way, with someone simply deciding to check. And don't worry, this doesn't require you to be an expert. In fact, some of the biggest finds come from people who had no clue what they were holding. The difference between those who benefit and those who miss out. One simple moment of action. The willingness to examine that penny. The decision to ask questions. The curiosity to dig deeper. If you feel a small spark of urgency in your chest right now, that's a good sign. It means you understand the stakes. Let's explore what to look for. because this is where things get exciting. A genuine 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny will have crisp details, especially around Lincoln's jawline and the wheat stalks on the reverse. But the real value comes from condition: bright surfaces, minimal scratches, and original shine. And then there are the dream scenarios: off-center strikes, double dies, planchet errors, or other minting anomalies. These tiny imperfections can push a coin's value into a realm most people never imagine. Ever wondered how a single penny becomes worth more than a luxury car or even a retirement fund? It's because collectors fight for the rarest of the rare. Now, if you're thinking, "I've probably never seen one of these," don't be so sure. Rare coins don't glow, sparkle, or announce themselves. They look ordinary until you look closely. That's why so many valuable coins go unnoticed for decades. Someone tosses a rare penny into a drawer, moves houses, forgets about it, and one day their grandkids find it and cash it in for a life-changing amount of money. Meanwhile, the original owner never knew what they had. It's a little funny and a little heartbreaking, wouldn't you agree? But here's the twist you didn't expect. The market for rare pennies is hotter than ever. Wealthy buyers know the value of tangible assets. They want items that appreciate over time, that carry history, that feel real. Unlike digital investments or unpredictable markets, rare coins have a track record stretching back a century or more. And as more people realize the financial potential hidden in old coins, demand keeps rising. That means your chance of selling at a high value has never been better. The next $1 million penny might still be sitting in someone's forgotten coin jar right now. Maybe even yours. As we move toward the end of this story, you may feel a mix of excitement and urgency. Exactly what you should feel. Opportunity doesn't wait. Rare coins don't announce themselves. And wealth won't come find you. You have to take the first step. You're not just watching this video for entertainment. You're here because a part of you knows there's something more out there. Something within reach. Something that could reshape your financial path. And you're right. So the question becomes, will you check your coins? Will you take that one small action that could unlock a fortune? Or will someone else make the discovery you could have made yourself? The next person to find a 6-figure or even 7-figure penny won't be a professional collector. It will be someone just like you. Someone willing to look a little closer at what they already have. And here's the final cliffhanger to carry with you after this video ends. Somewhere across America right now, a 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth up to $942,000 is sitting untouched, unnoticed, unappreciated. It's waiting for someone to recognize its worth. The real question is simple. Will that someone be you? Welcome back. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and discovering that a tiny brown coin you've ignored for decades could be the key that unlocks a life of financial freedom. Sounds impossible, right? Yet this is exactly what's happening for everyday Americans who are finding rare 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but up to millions of dollars. And yes, the current market value for one of these extraordinary coins has touched an astonishing $981,000. Before you think this can't happen to you, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes these coins so valuable, how to identify one, and why time may be running out to take advantage of this booming market. It all starts with a small, nearly weightless piece of copper. Most people see a penny and barely acknowledge it. They drop it in a cup holder or pass it off as loose change. But the 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is different. It's one of those unexpected treasures that hides in plain sight, waiting for the moment someone with a bit of knowledge recognizes its true value. And here's the twist. Many collectors believe some of the rarest examples haven't been found yet. That means your old jars, shoeboxes, or inherited coin stashes might still hold a fortune. Isn't it wild how something so ordinary could change your life overnight? To understand how this coin reached such extraordinary value, we need to go back to a time when the American economy was shifting, inflation was rising, and the U.S. Mint was preparing for big changes. In 1981, pennies were still made primarily from copper, just before the transition to zinc cores. During this period, thousands of coins were struck routinely, but a small number left the mint with remarkable clarity, sharpness, and in some cases, minor yet extremely valuable anomalies. The key was the absence of a mint mark. While the Philadelphia Mint didn't typically include a mint mark on pennies at the time, certain variations in strike quality and condition led to a handful of coins standing out dramatically from the rest. And as collectors quickly learned, rarity multiplied by demand equals value, sometimes staggering value. But rarity alone isn't enough. The deeper story is about desirability. Collectors today aren't just looking for coins. They're searching for symbols of craftsmanship, history, and opportunity. And the 1981 no-mint mark penny has become a star in the numismatic world. It represents a transitional moment in American coin production, a tangible reminder of economic shifts, and a snapshot of a country evolving. So why does this matter to you? Because when collectors begin chasing a particular coin, prices rise rapidly. And when demand spikes while supply stays frozen in time, fortunes are made. It's the classic law of scarcity, but with a $981,000 twist. So here's the part viewers rarely expect. What actually separates a regular 1981 penny worth 1 cent from the ones worth 6 figures or more? Comes down to condition, strike, errors, and overall eye appeal. The highest valued examples show deep detail in Lincoln's hair, crisp lettering, flawless surfaces, and virtually no signs of circulation. Some show dramatic doubling in the date or lettering, making them even more desirable. And a few ultra-rare versions appear so immaculate you'd swear they were struck yesterday. These are the coins that auction houses fight over, that collectors dream about, and that put life-changing checks into the hands of people who once thought they were just holding pocket change. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Many of these valuable coins were discovered not by experts, but by ordinary people. Retirees cleaning out an attic, families sorting through inherited collections, and even someone casually checking the change they received at a gas station. Those moments changed their lives. And while it's easy to think lightning won't strike twice, the reality is that thousands of 1981 pennies are still sitting untouched across the country. Some are in dusty cookie tins under beds, tucked inside yellowing paper rolls, or forgotten in storage units. And if that doesn't give you at least a spark of excitement, well, maybe you're just not imagining the right numbers. But excitement is one thing. Urgency is another. Because as more people learn about these coins, more collections get searched, and more rare examples reach the market, the window of opportunity shrinks. Once the majority of high-value coins are graded and accounted for, prices may stabilize or even decline. That means the best moment to check your coins is not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. After all, if a coin worth nearly $1 million is sitting silently in your home, do you really want to find it after someone else already cashed in on theirs? Still, the search is only one part of the story. The other part is strategy. If you do find a promising 1981 no-mint mark penny, the next steps you take determine whether you walk away with a few dollars or enough money to rewrite your financial future. That means getting your coin authenticated, graded, and evaluated by reputable experts. It means understanding auction options, knowing when to sell, and avoiding lowball offers from hobbyists hoping to get lucky at your expense. You'd be shocked at how many people unknowingly sell rare coins for pennies on the dollar simply because they didn't recognize what they had. Knowledge is power, but in this case, it's also profit. And let's be honest, for many viewers, the dream isn't just about finding a rare coin. It's about what that coin represents. Freedom, stability, relief from financial pressure, a chance to upgrade your lifestyle, take that vacation, clear debts, or build wealth for your family. That's why stories like these resonate so deeply. It's the reminder that sometimes opportunity doesn't come from hard labor or long hours, but from awareness, from paying attention, from recognizing value where others see nothing special. So what should you look for specifically? Focus on coins with a strong, crisp strike, minimal scratches, and high luster. If the details on Lincoln's face and coat appear sharp, you may have a premium example. If you spot doubling, especially on the date or lettering, you might be holding a coin worth far more than you'd expect. And if the coin looks virtually flawless, almost proof-like, even though it's not a proof coin, that's a major sign to have it professionally graded. And here's a little humorous but true tip. If you're holding a 1981 penny at arm's length, squinting at it under bad lighting, maybe grab a magnifier instead. Your eyesight deserves a break. As we approach the end of this story, you may be wondering just how many of these valuable coins are still out there. The answer? No one knows for sure. That's what keeps collectors searching and keeps the market alive. But every year, more are found, and each discovery changes the landscape. You don't want to be the person who realizes too late that the fortune you were seeking was in your home the entire time. And here's the cliffhanger that keeps this mystery alive. Experts believe the most pristine surviving example of the 1981 no-mint mark penny may still be undiscovered. That means the coin that could break every price record might be waiting for you to find it. Take action. Check your old jars, your collections, your forgotten drawers. Look closely at every 1981 no-mint mark penny you come across. Your journey toward wealth might begin with the simplest step: paying attention to the details that others overlook. And if you do happen to find that rare treasure, remember that one small moment of discovery can transform your future in ways you never imagined. Keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the power hidden in the smallest things. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the ordinary-looking penny sitting in your kitchen drawer, the same one you almost used to scratch a lottery ticket, is secretly worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet that is exactly what has happened to a handful of collectors who stumbled upon one of the most surprising treasures in modern American coinage: the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that now carries a current market value soaring as high as $988,000. And yes, that's for a single cent. 1 penny. The kind most people drop on the floor and don't bother picking up. If that doesn't make you want to check your pocket change immediately, nothing will. Before we get into the details of why this coin is so valuable, take a moment and ask yourself a simple question. What if the wealth you've been searching for has been sitting in your house for decades? What if opportunity didn't require luck or a lottery ticket, but simply knowing exactly what to look for? For thousands of Americans, especially those between the ages of 30 and 65, the greatest hidden assets they own are tucked away in jars, drawers, and old boxes. And in today's shifting economic climate, where financial uncertainty feels more real than ever, the thought of finding a life-changing coin worth nearly $1 million is more than exciting. It's empowering. The story of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny begins like any great mystery. Quietly, unnoticed, and with a twist no one expected. When the coin was released, it was meant to be just another year in the long-running Lincoln Cent series. Billions were minted. Most went straight into circulation. No alarms, no headlines, no special announcements. Just everyday pennies doing everyday work in pockets, purses, and piggy banks across America. If only the mint knew how history would rewrite the value of this tiny copper-plated coin. But here's where everything shifts. A small number of 1988 Lincoln pennies were struck using a transitional die meant for the next year's design. This subtle but game-changing mistake created a rare variety now hunted by collectors everywhere. The most famous version features the 1989 reverse design, a detail so small the average person would never notice unless they knew exactly what to look for. And that's what makes this opportunity so powerful. In a world where most people walk past the things that hold the most value, the select few who learn to recognize rarity are the ones who gain life-changing advantages. That if you've ever wondered why rare coins can skyrocket to insane prices, the answer is surprisingly simple. Scarcity, demand, and the thrill of owning a piece of history that almost shouldn't exist. The 1988 no-mint mark transitional penny checks all 3 boxes. It's a mistake that slipped through the cracks. It's elusive enough that collectors obsess over it. And when one finally shows up in pristine condition, the bidding wars ignite with a level of intensity that would make you question whether people are fighting over a penny or a beachfront mansion. But here's where things get even more interesting. Most people think rare coins come from the 1800s or earlier. They imagine dusty, ancient pieces tucked away in museums. However, the biggest fortunes in coin collecting often come from modern coins, the ones that look ordinary because they were supposed to be ordinary. That's the trap. And that's also the opportunity. A regular 1988 penny in your hand feels worthless. But one with the right features can be worth more than most luxury cars, more than a high-end home in many cities, and in some cases more than people make in an entire decade. Not bad for something that weighs 2.5 grams and costs 1 cent to spend. If you're wondering what makes the difference between a regular penny and $1 million penny, the secret lies in the reverse design, specifically the designer's initials. The rare 1988 transitional penny has the FG initials of Frank Gasparo shaped the same way as the 1989 style, not the 1988 style. It's a microscopic detail. Blink and you miss it. But those tiny initials are worth nearly $1 million. It's funny. Some people say size doesn't matter. Clearly, they've never inspected Gasparo's initials on a penny. Now imagine the emotional whiplash of someone realizing they tossed away one of these rare coins without ever knowing it. It's the numismatic version of throwing a winning lottery ticket into the trash. And that feeling of fear that maybe, just maybe, you've had one of these pennies before and let it slip away, is exactly why collectors are now checking their old change with a level of intensity normally reserved for watching stock markets or checking real estate listings. The demand keeps rising, the supply stays tiny, and the value climbs and climbs and climbs. But here's the most important truth. The people who benefit from these rare coins aren't the ones with the biggest bank accounts. They're the ones with the sharpest eyes, the ones who take action, the ones who understand that opportunities aren't found. They're recognized. So what should you be looking for? First, check that the penny has no mint mark under the date. That part is easy. The second step is the key. Flip the coin over and examine the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial. On the rare version, the initials are sharper, closer to the building, and have the 1989 style shape. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need special equipment. A simple magnifying glass will do. But here comes the cliffhanger. Even if you find one, the condition of the coin determines everything. A coin with scratches or discoloration might be worth thousands, but not hundreds of thousands. However, a coin preserved in near-perfect condition, mint state quality, is the one that skyrockets to that astounding $988,000 price range. Collectors fight over quality. They pay top dollar for beauty. And the difference between a $200 penny and $1 million penny can be as small as a hairline scratch. Many people don't realize how much wealth is hiding in the world of coins because they assume it's complicated. But the truth is, it's one of the simplest ways to turn something small into something powerful. Think of it as treasure hunting without the shovels, without the maps, without the danger of running into pirates. Unless you consider your neighbor Gary a pirate, in which case, good luck. As we move toward the conclusion, keep one essential idea in mind. Wealth rarely arrives in dramatic ways. More often, it's uncovered through awareness, curiosity, and timing. And right now, with record-breaking auction results and rising demand for rare transitional pennies, the opportunity has never been greater. The 1988 no-mint mark penny isn't just valuable because it's rare. It's valuable because it represents possibility, the possibility that you already own something life-changing and just need to recognize it. Imagine selling a penny and using that money to pay off debt, invest in property, start a business, or retire early. Imagine watching your financial stress dissolve because of one tiny mistake made at the mint 36 years ago. Imagine telling your family the story of how a simple penny transformed your future. That's not fantasy. That's what real people have already experienced. And here is the biggest suspense of all. More of these rare coins are still out there, unfound, undiscovered, sitting silently in jars, drawers, envelopes, and collections. Maybe in your home, maybe even in the very room you're sitting in right now. So before this video ends, make yourself a promise. Go through your coins. Check every 1988 penny you find. Look closely, because opportunities like this don't last forever. As supply shrinks and collectors compete, prices will continue to soar, and the window to strike life-changing wealth gets smaller every year. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always come from where we expect. Sometimes it comes from the smallest places, discovered by the people who are willing to look. And who knows, the next millionaire might not be someone on Wall Street. It might be someone holding a penny. Someone just like you. Welcome back. Imagine waking up tomorrow, opening the drawer where you toss your loose change, and realizing one single penny, a coin you've probably ignored for decades, could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But as you're about to see, The 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is quietly rewriting the rules of wealth building in America, and those who understand its value are stepping into a future they never expected. Before this video ends, you'll know exactly why this coin has shocked collectors, how a simple 1-cent piece reached a current market valuation of $989,000, and how you can decide whether the pennies in your home might become your ticket to financial freedom. It's funny how life works. We chase complicated investments, stress over markets, and yet, sometimes the greatest opportunities are sitting right under our noses. And the 1989 no-mint Mark penny is the perfect example. To understand why it has climbed to extraordinary value, we have to go back to the moment most people completely overlooked it. No fancy mint mark, no deliberate rarity, no dramatic backstory, just another penny rolling off the presses. Or so everyone thought. The truth is, coins become valuable when something unexpected happens. An error, a flaw, a small deviation in the minting process that most people never notice. With the 1989 penny, certain rare specimens were struck under unusual conditions, variations in die alignment, metal composition, or pressure inconsistencies that created anomalies so subtle most people would never recognize them. But collectors did. And once collectors find something unusual, the value doesn't rise slowly. It skyrockets. Now, why does this matter to you? Because every time a coin like this makes headlines for selling near the $1 million mark, the window of opportunity narrows. Suddenly, everyone starts digging through drawers and jars, hoping they're sitting on one of these hidden treasures. And here's the twist most people don't realize. The most valuable 1989 pennies weren't discovered in museum collections or bank vaults. They were found by ordinary people. People who picked up a random penny and thought, something looks a little different. Ever had that feeling when you find an odd coin but throw it back because you're rushing? Regret hits differently after hearing these numbers, doesn't it? Collectors describe the top-tier 1989 no-mint Mark penny as a masterpiece of accidental rarity. Perfect surfaces, razor-sharp detail, a nearly flawless strike that appears more sculpted than minted. That combination of accidental beauty and unexpected scarcity is exactly what pushes prices into the stratosphere. The highest-grade examples, in pristine condition, now hover near $989,000. And if you think that's the limit, history says otherwise. Rare coins don't just climb, they leap. Today's $989,000 coin could easily be next year's $1 million treasure. But coins aren't just about money. They're about timing. And timing, right now, is working in your favor. The demand for rare pennies has exploded as more people search for alternative ways to protect their wealth. Stocks rise and fall, property values fluctuate, but historically rare coins? They only move one direction over time. And as collectors age and new generations enter the hobby with deeper pockets and sharper interest, scarcity becomes even more powerful. After all, you can't print more 1989 errors. What exists right now is all the world will ever have. There's a bit of fear that comes with this knowledge too. The fear of missing out on something that could change your life. The fear of looking back years from now thinking, why didn't I check when I had the chance? And of course, there's the quiet fear that someone else, maybe even someone you know, might dig up a fortune you unknowingly stepped over. But fear can be useful when it pushes you into action. Now you might be wondering, what should you look for? While every valuable 1989 penny will have its own unique characteristics, the most sought-after pieces generally show signs of exceptional condition or subtle mint errors. A faint doubling on lettering, slight misalignment, a shine or clarity that seems unusually crisp. Some have off-metal striking varieties, making them dramatically more valuable. And yes, occasionally coins have surfaced that look deceptively ordinary until examined under magnification. That's the thrilling part. The difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million might be something invisible to the naked eye. Picture this for a moment. You've sorted through every penny in your home. You find one that looks interesting. You get it appraised. And suddenly, your entire financial outlook shifts. What would you do with that kind of money? Pay off your home? Start a new business? Retire early and comfortably? Or maybe you'd finally take that trip you keep postponing. A single penny could open that door. It almost sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's happening right now to people who were once in your exact position. As the value of the 1989 penny continues rising, competition among collectors increases, which means the selling opportunity for owners becomes even more profitable. Every time a high-grade piece hits the market, bidders fight aggressively to secure it. Some buy to complete sets, others buy as investments, and a few buy simply because they know the next buyer down the road will pay even more. The excitement builds with every record-breaking sale. And excitement, in the world of collectors, is a force more powerful than gold. But before you get too comfortable, here comes the cliffhanger. The rarest 1989 specimens are still out there. Not all have been found. Not all have been graded. Not all have been recognized for what they are. Some are hiding in pockets, drawers, old jars, inherited boxes, and even in coin rolls sitting in bank vaults waiting to be opened. What if the most valuable one hasn't even been discovered yet? What if it's sitting just a few feet away from you right now, quietly waiting to be picked up? And here's another twist. Once news spreads that the top examples are crossing the $900,000 mark, collectors worldwide will start hunting harder. That means fewer coins available. And fewer coins equals higher prices. This is where urgency becomes your advantage. Those who check their change now, those who get their coins appraised soon, those who take action early, they're the ones who will benefit the most. Of course, in the middle of all this excitement, there's a touch of humor too. Imagine explaining to your family that you need silence because you're listening to your coins, or that you're canceling plans because a penny inspection is now a top priority. Sounds funny, but people do it. And guess what? It pays off. The story of the 1989 no-mint mark penny continues unfolding. Collectors and investors agree on one thing. This coin represents more than value. It represents possibility. A reminder that wealth doesn't always come from complicated strategies. Sometimes it comes from awareness, opportunity, and a willingness to look closer at the things the world ignores. And now, the final cliffhanger. We are entering a new wave of coin appreciation unlike anything seen in decades. Prices are rising. Demand is climbing. And the world is finally paying attention. The next major discovery could happen at any moment, and someone, maybe someone watching this right now, could be the person who finds the next record-breaking coin. So take action. Search your pennies. Inspect your collections. Open those old boxes you haven't touched in years. Because in a market this energized, hesitation could cost you everything. And one tiny copper coin could change your entire future. Thanks for watching, and stay ready. Your life-changing penny might be closer than you think. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, the kind that's been sitting in the back of a closet for years, and discovering a single penny that could rewrite the story of your financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet today, that unbelievable possibility becomes very real, because the 2002 mint Mark Lincoln penny is quietly turning ordinary people into extraordinary success stories. And if you think pennies can't be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even millions depending on rarity, condition, and demand, well, you're about to be pleasantly shocked. Welcome to a journey where a 1-cent coin can become the spark that leads someone toward a wealthier, more abundant life. But before you assume your change jar is nothing special, stay with me. Because what you're about to hear might just make you look at every penny you touch with new eyes. The fascinating rise of the 2002 Lincoln penny didn't happen overnight. In fact, most people still don't know why certain coins from this year have exploded in value. That ignorance has already cost collectors fortunes, and it's the kind of mistake you don't want to be guilty of. Some examples in nearly flawless condition have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, up to $202,000 in today's market, and experts believe that as the collector community grows, the rarest specimens could climb even higher, potentially into the $1 million range. That number isn't a fantasy. It's rooted in real demand, real scarcity, and real competition among wealthy buyers who will go to extraordinary lengths to acquire perfection. But before we get to the treasure hunt that might be hiding in your home, let's rewind and explore why this particular penny stands out. In 2002, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies, but only a microscopic portion were struck with the kind of precision and flawless surfaces that collectors crave. Most coins went straight into circulation and immediately suffered scratches, discoloration, and wear. But a select few, just a tiny handful, escaped unscathed. These coins, when preserved properly or found in pristine, unhandled condition, are the ones commanding staggering prices today. Imagine billions of coins pouring down a production line, and somewhere in that noisy, chaotic flow, a few flawless survivors slip through. It's like finding diamonds in a riverbed that was never supposed to hold any. Collectors don't just want these coins. They compete for them. That competition drives the price higher every year. It's the same principle that has sent rare baseball cards, misprinted stamps, and limited edition art to astronomical values. The feeling of owning something almost nobody else can have is irresistible, especially to buyers who don't blink at writing six-figure checks. Now here's where it gets interesting for you. The rarest 2002D pennies aren't always found in coin shops or collector vaults. Many are discovered in everyday places. Rolled coins from the bank, old coffee jars, desk drawers, boxes of childhood keepsakes, or even pocket change from a grocery store. If that sounds too good to be true, consider this. Nearly every major coin discovery of the past 20 years was found by someone who never expected it. Someone who picked up a coin, looked a little closer, and noticed something the rest of the world ignored. But here's the twist: the value of a 2002D penny isn't just about being old. It's about being perfect. Mint state condition, razor-sharp details, original red copper shine, no dents, no scratches, no signs of circulation. These are the traits that transform a coin from everyday currency into a financial opportunity. And if you've ever wondered what separates a penny worth 1 cent from one worth 6 figures, sometimes it's literally the difference of a single scratch. Scary, right? The line between fortune and disappointment is paper thin. And yet, there's excitement in that uncertainty. That what-if feeling. What if you're holding something special? What if the coin sitting unnoticed in your home is exactly the kind collectors are desperate to acquire? This is why so many people between the ages of 30 and 65 are diving into coin hunting today. Not because it's a hobby, but because it's a smart, strategic way to unlock hidden wealth in a time when every dollar matters. Instead of waiting for opportunities, they're uncovering them one coin at a time. But let's slow down for a moment and ask the question you're probably thinking: what exactly makes the 2002D penny capable of selling for $202,000 today? Part of the answer lies in rarity of condition. The coin market rewards perfection heavily, especially for modern coins where flawless survivors are absurdly uncommon. Many 2002D pennies that graded MS-68 or MS-69 have sold for tens of thousands. The elusive MS-70, essentially perfect, has investors whispering about future seven-figure potential. If a verified MS-70 appears, the bidding war could be unlike anything the penny market has seen in decades. Another factor is population. Out of billions made, only a microscopic number have been certified at the highest grades. When collectors see only a few top-tier specimens available, they jump fast, and they bid high. If you've ever seen someone try to outbid another person for a rare car or a luxury watch, coins operate by the same psychology. Scarcity builds pressure. Pressure builds urgency. And urgency builds value. Now, if your heart is racing a little, that's good. It means you understand the stakes. But don't panic. Take that urgency and turn it into action. Because chances are you're surrounded by coins you've never examined closely. Maybe from your childhood. Maybe from a family member. Maybe from a forgotten stash you didn't think twice about. Every collection, no matter how small, has the potential to hide at least one high-value outlier. Here's a simple truth. Wealthy collectors often find opportunities not because they are lucky, but because they pay attention. They look where others don't. They inspect details others ignore. That habit, just paying closer attention, has built fortunes. So take a breath, grab your coins, and let curiosity lead the way. And now you might be wondering how to know if your 2002D penny is one of the valuable ones. The good news is that you don't need to be an expert overnight. Start by examining the coin under strong lighting. Look for sharp lines, deep details, and original shine. If the coin looks like it just rolled off the press yesterday, you may have something special. And if you have multiple 2002D pennies, even better, because sometimes the prize is hiding among the ordinary. But here comes the cliffhanger you didn't expect. The most valuable 2002D penny isn't always the one that looks the cleanest to the naked eye. Sometimes the treasure lies in a subtle error. Something so tiny you might overlook it. A doubled inscription. a misaligned die, a barely visible strike anomaly, the kind of flaw that turns a regular penny into a collector magnet. If you don't know what to look for, it's easy to pass right over it. But if you do, you just might uncover a life-changing find worth far more than the already impressive $202,000 examples on record. This is why collectors, investors, and everyday people are rushing to examine their change jars again. They're not searching for a penny, they're searching for possibility. And possibility is priceless. But let's not forget why this matters. For many people watching right now, financial freedom isn't just a dream. It's a need, a goal, a path towards security, comfort, and a lifestyle they've always wanted. Maybe you're tired of working harder with nothing to show for it. Maybe you want to leave something meaningful behind. Maybe you're just ready for a breakthrough that finally puts you in control of your future. If that's you, then even a simple penny becomes a symbol of hope. A reminder that wealth isn't always found in obvious places. Sometimes, it's hidden in plain sight. And if you're waiting for a sign, here it is. The market for rare pennies is growing faster than ever. Buyers are paying more. Auctions are breaking records. Collectors are competing fiercely. The opportunity is now, not later. Not someday. Now. Before we close, here's the question that truly matters. When you go through your coins after this video, will you just glance at them? Or will you really look? Because people who just glance walk right past opportunities. But people who look, the ones who pay attention, those are the people who uncover fortunes. So don't underestimate the power of a penny. Don't underestimate what could be hiding in your home. And don't underestimate your ability to turn curiosity into wealth. Somewhere out there, someone is about to discover a 2002 penny that changes their life. The only question left is simple. Why shouldn't it be you? Welcome back. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, checking the loose change in your kitchen drawer, and realizing a single penny, just one, could rewrite your entire financial future. Sounds impossible, right? Yet the 2006 mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin millions of Americans ignored for nearly 2 decades, is now shocking collectors with values reaching as high as $206,000, and in certain rare circumstances, even projected into the millions. And the real question is simple. Could one of these life-changing coins already be sitting in your home? Before we dive deep, ask yourself something. How many pennies have slipped through your fingers over the years without a second thought? How many times did you overlook that faint mint mark, that unusual shine, or that tiny, rare flaw? Funny how the things we value least sometimes hold the power to change everything. But today is different. Today you're about to discover why a modern coin from 2006 is shaking wealth seekers across the country, and why buyers are paying extreme premiums for the right examples. The story begins in 2006, a year most people barely associate with collectible pennies. It was supposed to be just another era of modern copper-plated zinc cents struck at the Denver Mint. Billions rolled out of the presses. Billions entered circulation. And billions were forgotten. But hidden among them were anomalies. Coins struck with precision errors, rare die varieties, and unexpectedly high-grade features that slipped past quality control. And those hidden survivors are the ones rewriting price guides today. But here's where things get interesting. While most people assume modern pennies are worthless, expert collectors are hunting down flawless specimens with an obsession usually reserved for precious metals. Why? Because grading services have certified certain 2006 Lincoln cents at near-perfect conditions that are nearly impossible to replicate today. A microscopic scratch can destroy the value. A tiny discoloration can turn a fortune into pocket change. And that fragile line between ordinary and extraordinary creates a market fueled by rarity and fear of missing out. Picture someone discovering one in a jar, sending it to be graded, and learning it's worth more than their car. Now imagine realizing someone else's jar, maybe even your own, still holds one. That little spark of excitement? Hold on to it. Collectors are paying top dollar for high-grade 2006 specimens, especially those that exhibit unusual doubling on the lettering, crisp strikes on Lincoln's profile, or strong mint luster preserved through nearly 20 years of circulation. A flawless example recently hit a jaw-dropping value of $206,000, the kind of number that makes even seasoned investors raise an eyebrow. And whispers within elite numismatic circles suggest that if an ultra-perfect specimen with rare error combination surfaces, the bidding could climb into the million-dollar territory. Yes, a modern penny, worth more than a luxury home. But what makes these coins so special? It's the combination of scarcity in high grade and the growing demand for modern varieties. People are waking up to the reality that wealth sometimes comes from unexpected places. In a world where everything feels expensive, the idea that a penny, 1 cent, can deliver financial security carries emotional weight. Hope, excitement, possibility. Yet here's the twist. Most people will never look closely enough to notice the details that make these coins valuable. A tiny doubled ear on Lincoln, a subtle die chip near the date, a razor-sharp strike that reveals every contour on the portrait. It's almost funny how something so small can create such massive value. Blink and you miss it. Squint, and you might spot your ticket to generational wealth. As you listen, you might already feel a hint of urgency stirring. Maybe you're thinking of that box in your closet, that old jar your parents kept, that drawer you haven't touched since 2006. How many potential treasures are sitting there, quietly waiting for someone who knows what they're looking for? The truth is, the opportunity doesn't come from luck. It comes from awareness. And today, you're becoming part of the group that understands the hidden value in what others overlook. The premium 2006 pennies that command six-figure prices typically fall into one of two categories: flawless condition or rare errors. For condition, professional graders look for coins that appear untouched by human hands. No smudges, no friction, no discoloration. Coins that look like they were frozen in time. These are almost always discovered in old rolls, forgotten mint sets, or estates where the owners collected without realizing what they had. Then there are the errors, the thrilling lottery tickets of the numismatic world. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, misaligned dies, or dramatic die breaks. These mechanical mistakes create one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors fight over. Think of them like misprinted dollar bills, but even more valuable because pennies are struck in such massive numbers that genuine errors are incredibly rare. And when one surfaces in a grade above 67, collectors go wild. The bidding wars get emotional, competitive, even aggressive. Now, what separates the watchers from the wealth builders is simple action. Many people watch videos about rare coins. Fewer actually check their own collections. Even fewer take the step of learning what details matter, submitting coins for grading, and seizing the opportunity. Yet those who do, they're the ones who wake up to six-figure payout offers for a penny worth almost nothing to the untrained eye. And here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. In recent months, private buyers have been increasing their offers for high-grade modern pennies, and numismatic insiders are predicting a surge in values as more Americans start selling their old coin stashes. That means timing matters a lot. Markets shift. Demand rises and falls. Today's opportunity becomes tomorrow's regret. If you've ever missed out on something valuable because you hesitated, you already know how that feels. You don't want it again. So imagine, for a moment, finding a 2006 penny with extraordinary luster. You package it carefully, send it for grading, and wait. The anticipation builds. Days pass. Then the results come back. Mint state 69. Maybe even a rare variety. Suddenly, offers start arriving. 5 figures, 6 figures, maybe more. It's not just money. It's the validation that you spotted something others ignored. That you stepped into a world where small decisions create massive results. That you took control of your financial story. But the cliffhanger here is this. If the market continues accelerating the way experts predict, the next record-breaking 2006 penny hasn't been found yet. It might still be out there. It might still be ungraded. It might still be in circulation. And someone, somewhere, is going to be the one who discovers it. The only question left is whether that someone could be you. As the value of rare modern coins climbs, more collectors are shifting attention to overlooked years like 2006, driving competition and scarcity. And with each newly discovered high-grade coin, the remaining population becomes even smaller, pushing prices higher. The window of opportunity is open now, but not forever. If you've ever dreamed of living a wealthier lifestyle, of turning hidden items into real income, This is the moment you take seriously, so take a breath and think carefully. What if your journey to financial transformation starts with a simple habit? Checking every penny with intention. What if the key to unlocking wealth is already in your possession? What if the coin the market has been waiting for is sitting in your home right now? Don't underestimate the power of awareness. The most successful people in the rare coin world share one thing in common. They looked where others didn't. They searched, they learned, they acted. And their lives changed because of it. Now you stand at that same crossroads. Somewhere among the billions of pennies minted in 2006, a few extraordinary survivors are waiting. Some already worth over $206,000. Some still rising in value. Some destined to break records. And as you get ready to check your own collection, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from big leaps. Sometimes it comes from a tiny copper-plated coin with a D beneath the year, a coin that most people would walk past without a second glance. Here is your full, clean, professional 10-minute faceless video script. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that a single penny sitting quietly in your kitchen drawer is worth more than your entire car. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what's happening across America as collectors are racing to secure one of the most surprising modern treasures in the coin world: the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin so ordinary, so recent, that most people would never think twice about it. Yet some examples have exploded in value, reaching a staggering current market price of up to $213,000. And in rare cases, even climbing into the millions. And the most extraordinary part is this: you might already own one without knowing it. Stories like this aren't just about coins. They're about opportunity. They're about the sudden shift from scarcity to abundance, from overlooked pocket change to a life-changing discovery. Every day, people across the country are digging through jars, old boxes, forgotten drawers, hoping they'll be the next person to turn a penny into a fortune. And if that excites you, it should. Because the 2013 no-mint Mark penny is proof that wealth sometimes hides in the places we least expect. But before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, you know what, this could make me rich? Probably not. Most of us barely look at pennies at all, unless they're blocking the vacuum cleaner. Yet this coin challenges everything we assume about modern minting. Unlike the classic rarities from the 1940s or the steel cents of the wartime era, the 2013 penny is a modern, everyday coin, which means it shouldn't be rare. But that's exactly why collectors are paying attention. Because when something that should be common reveals a flaw, a secret, or a unique anomaly, its value skyrockets. The big question is, why this penny? Why 2013? Why no mint Mark? And how could an ordinary-looking cent suddenly command six-figure prices? The answer traces back to a combination of unexpected production issues, overlooked errors, and limited survival rates. In 2013, the U.S. Mint underwent various adjustments in production. Most pennies from that year were made in huge quantities, but certain batches lacked a mint mark and contained unusual die variations, doubling anomalies, and rare misstrikes. At the time, nobody cared. These coins left the mint, entered circulation, and vanished into everyday pockets. It wasn't until collectors began to examine them closely years later that some jaw-dropping discoveries surfaced. A small number of these coins displayed extreme doubling, warped impressions, or striking irregularities so dramatic that they transformed an everyday coin into a numismatic phenomenon. And here's the twist. Many of the most valuable examples weren't discovered by dealers or museums. They were found by regular people, by retirees cleaning out boxes, by young adults sorting through change jars, by families going through old piggy banks. Ordinary Americans just like you who stumbled upon something extraordinary. Imagine finding a tiny flaw in your penny and realizing, this little copper-plated disc could pay off your mortgage. That's the kind of shock these lucky owners experienced. Of course, with stories like this comes something else. Something we don't talk about much, but it lingers beneath the excitement. It's the fear of missing out. The fear that somewhere in your home, maybe even in your pocket right now, sits a penny worth thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you'll never know unless you check. That fear is real. And honestly, it's justified, because these rare 2013 pennies are still out there. Thousands of people have them, but only a few have taken the time to look closely enough to recognize them. But let's not get too carried away. Some people hear the word rare and immediately assume every penny is worth a fortune. Not quite. The truth is, only a small percentage of 2013 no-mint mark pennies carry the extreme errors that command massive prices. But that's exactly why checking matters. You're not looking for any penny, you're looking for the rare variations, the dramatic doubling, the severe misstrikes, the clean and preserved surfaces. The kind of details that turn a 1-cent coin into a $250,000 asset. Think of it this way. Most people walk past opportunity every day. But the people who look closely, who pay attention, who take a few minutes to inspect the small things, they're the ones who win. And this coin rewards the people who look closely. A small coin with a big secret hidden in plain sight. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where the excitement turns into reality. The highest valued 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies have reached the six-figure range, landing at an incredible $213,000 in recent private sales. And collectors believe that because the coin is modern, demand will only grow over time. Why? Because modern rarities are easier for people to understand, easier to search for, and easier to authenticate. Combine that with low survival rates of pristine error examples, and you get lightning in a bottle, a modern treasure worth competing for. But here's the real cliffhanger. The top experts believe we haven't even seen the most valuable example yet. The finest surviving 2013 penny, if discovered in perfect condition with the most dramatic error, could very well break existing records and push into the millions. That coin is out there somewhere. It may be sitting in a collection, forgotten in a drawer, or hiding in someone's pocket change right now. And no one knows when it'll surface. This is why collectors are in a frenzy to examine every 2013 penny they find. The hunt isn't just alive. It's accelerating. So what should you look for? Focus on the details. Doubling on the date, distortion around Lincoln's eye or the lettering, strange outlines on the shield, weak or overly strong strikes, and any unusual metal stretching that indicates a misalignment error. Even subtle anomalies can dramatically boost a coin's value. And humor me for a moment, but isn't it funny how we stare at our phones more closely than our own money? Yet your phone won't make you $200,000 just by looking at it. Unless it's made of gold. If you do find something unusual, don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't toss it back into circulation. Store it safely, photograph it, and get a professional evaluation. Because once authenticated, the coin's true value enters the spotlight, and that's where life-changing decisions can happen. Selling it, holding it, or leveraging it as an asset. Before we go further, let me leave you with a thought. In life, opportunities rarely arrive with flashing lights or loud announcements. Sometimes they arrive quietly, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for the right person to notice. This coin is one of those opportunities. A reminder that wealth doesn't always come from big risks or huge investments. Sometimes, it comes from paying attention to the smallest details. And that brings us to the final question, the one that keeps collectors awake at night. Is the next six-figure 2013 penny already discovered? Or is it still out there, sitting in someone's home unnoticed? Could it be in your possession right now? Could it be the coin you've ignored for years? Or are you about to check your change bowl after this video ends? I don't blame you if you do. In fact, millions of Americans are doing the same thing. So stay curious, stay aware, and stay open to the possibility that the next major discovery in the world of rare coins might come from you. Because hidden wealth isn't just a dream, it's real, it's discoverable, and in the case of the 2013 no-mint mark penny, it might be closer than you think. And if you're holding on to one right now, take a closer look. It might be the smallest investment you've ever made, and the biggest reward you'll ever receive. Welcome back. Imagine waking up tomorrow, digging through a forgotten drawer, and discovering that a tiny brown coin you've ignored for years is suddenly worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even quietly climbing into the realm of million-dollar treasures. Sounds unbelievable, right? And yet, that's exactly what has been happening with one of the most ordinary coins in America. The 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin so common, so overlooked, that millions of people spent it without ever knowing they were holding a fortune between their fingers. But today, you're about to see why this simple penny has become one of the most shocking modern-day wealth opportunities hiding in plain sight. Most people assume that old coins are where the big money is. The wheat pennies, the early copper cents, the Civil War relics. But what if the real treasure was struck just a few years ago? What if the very coin sitting inside your car's cup holder, the one you almost vacuumed up last week, was actually worth more than a new luxury SUV? And what if one rare example has already hit a stunning market value of $215,000, with collectors whispering that the right specimen could eventually climb into seven-figure territory? I know it sounds like the start of a treasure-hunting movie, but stay with me because the story behind this modern penny is far more fascinating than fiction. To understand why the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has surged in value, you first need to understand the unexpected truth of modern minting. By 2015, production technology was supposed to be nearly flawless. High-speed presses, laser-engraved dies, tight tolerances. In theory, errors shouldn't happen. And yet, they did. Dramatically. And those errors changed everything. Certain 2015 pennies left the mint with shocking mistakes. Off-center strikes, doubled dies, unusual plating flaws, and even rare transitional surfaces that collectors still debate today. Because these coins weren't supposed to exist, their rarity skyrocketed overnight. And when rarity meets demand in the coin world, prices can climb faster than a rocket leaving Cape Canaveral. But here's where the story turns from interesting to life-changing. While older rare coins are mostly locked away in private collections, 2015-era pennies are still out there. In pockets, in jars, in boxes of loose change, in old piggy banks your kids forgot about. Some are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with just enough curiosity to pick them up and look closer. The fear of missing out becomes very real when you consider that someone right now might be holding a penny worth more than most people earn in a year, and they don't even know it. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's sitting somewhere inside your house at this very moment. So what exactly should you look for? Here's where things get exciting. Some 2015 pennies show dramatic doubling on the date, the letters Liberty, or the words "In God We Trust." Others reveal off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait drifts left or right, sometimes cut halfway off the coin. There are coins with partial collars, coins with misaligned dies, coins with unusual surface distortions that look almost liquid. And then there are the ultra-rare, high-grade examples. Flawless or near-flawless coins that survive circulation untouched. These are the ones commanding the highest prices. The current market high rests around $215,000 for a top-tier specimen, and the upper range potential has experts hinting very carefully that a perfect museum-quality error could break into the million-dollar category if one ever appears. You might be wondering how a coin with no mint mark fits into all of this. After all, the Philadelphia Mint doesn't typically mark their pennies. So what makes this coin stand out? The answer lies in the sheer scale of 2015 production combined with the unpredictability of minting errors that slipped into circulation. Every collector knows that modern errors are the wild cards of coin collecting. They can appear suddenly, vanish quickly, and become legends almost overnight. But the 2015 series was unusual because the volume of errors and their severity shocked even experienced numismatists. Imagine the surprise when coin graders began submitting reports. Imagine the excitement when collectors realized the modern era had just produced a new class of high-value rarities. And imagine, for just a moment, holding one of those rare survivors in your hand. Of course, before you start flipping your couch cushions upside down, let's talk about grading. Condition is king. A rare error in poor condition might fetch a few $100s, but a rare error in pristine, mint-state condition can sell for life-changing amounts. The top collectors fight for the finest known example. They chase perfection, scarcity, and story. And the 2015 penny has all three. But here comes the twist. Because this coin is so modern, uncirculated examples are still hiding in the wild. They're not locked behind glass cases or buried in old estates. You could find one today. Yes, today. And in a moment, I'll tell you exactly how to increase your chances. Before that, here's a question for you. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Most people don't. We toss them aside. We ignore them. We think they aren't worth the effort. But ignoring pennies is exactly why so many rare ones end up slipping through the cracks. Think of how many people probably spent a valuable 2015-era penny at a drive-thru or dropped it inside a tip jar. It's almost comical and a little painful. Yet this overlooked attitude is exactly what gives prepared collectors like you the upper hand. Now let's talk strategy, because finding high-value pennies isn't about luck. It's about method. Start with what's already in your home. Check your change jars, old wallets, desk drawers, coat pockets, glove compartments, and every place small things accumulate quietly over the years. Next, check bank rolls. The irony is that some banks still distribute sealed rolls of coins containing untouched 2015 specimens. You can exchange a few dollars and walk away with the possibility of discovering a coin worth more than a beachfront condo. Does it always happen? Of course not. But does it happen? Absolutely. That's why smart collectors act first while everyone else hesitates. Here comes the cliffhanger that most people overlook. The value surge isn't over. It's beginning. Modern collectors have only recently started taking these error coins seriously, and prices have been climbing year after year. Think about the early days of the 1955 double-die penny. People laughed at those too. They called them curiosities. Now they're legendary. The same evolution is happening right now, except this time it's happening in our lifetime, with coins struck during an era people assume is too modern to matter. And that misunderstanding is your advantage. Some viewers might ask, will every 2015 penny be worth money? No. But will rare examples continue to attract serious collectors, competitive bidding, and escalating values? Yes. And if you're holding one of those rare survivors, the question becomes, will you recognize it when you see it? Or will it slip away the way so many valuable coins already have? As you sift through your coins, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from giant steps. Sometimes it comes from the smallest details. A slight doubling, a subtle misalignment, a coin that looks just a little different. Those tiny details can transform an ordinary penny into a financial breakthrough. And isn't it remarkable how opportunity tends to hide in the places people least expect? Almost like the universe planted clues everywhere, waiting for the right person to pay attention. Before we wrap up, let me ask one final question. If you discovered a 2015 penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, what would you do with it? Would you sell it immediately and upgrade your lifestyle? Would you hold it as an investment and watch its value grow? Or would you frame it on the wall as the coin that changed your life? There's no right answer, but there is a right action. And that action is simple. Start looking. Because somewhere in America, someone is holding a little copper-plated treasure worth more than they could ever imagine. And they don't know it. And the next person to uncover one could be you. So take a deep breath, grab your jar of pennies, and begin your search. Wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And right now, it's whispering from a tiny coin minted in 2015. Most people walk around every day with small fortunes sitting quietly in their pockets, hidden in jars or tossed in old drawers. And yet, they never know. But today, you're about to discover how a simple 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin millions of Americans handled without a second thought, has stunned collectors by selling for values soaring into the hundreds of thousands, and in the rarest cases, even climbing toward the $1 million mark. Yes, a coin worth 1 cent on paper can actually change someone's life. The only question is, could one be sitting in your home right now? Before you assume you don't have anything valuable, stay with this story. Because the truth is, some of the highest value 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies were found not by collectors, not by professionals, but by everyday people. People who simply got curious, looked closer, and discovered the kind of opportunity that most of us secretly hope for. And it all starts with one of the most underestimated coins ever struck in modern history. The 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a coin that shouldn't be valuable at all. It was produced in massive numbers, made of ordinary copper-plated zinc, and it's still found everywhere: cash registers, parking meters, glove compartments. But here's the twist that shocks beginners. It is the flaws, the accidents, the tiny imperfections created during minting that transform an ordinary penny into a prize worth up to $216,000 in today's market, with top-tier exceptional errors pushing into the millions. Think about that for a moment. A manufacturing mistake becoming a life-changing asset. You almost have to laugh. Imagine telling your younger self to stop throwing pennies on the ground. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Not all 2016 pennies are valuable, And that is exactly what creates the urgency. Only a fraction of the total mintage contains the extreme errors that collectors chase. Most people will never check their coins, meaning most of these treasures are still out there, unclaimed. Does that thought make you feel a little uneasy? Maybe even a little excited? It should. The rarest and most valuable 2016 no-mint mark pennies exhibit dramatic minting errors. Double dies that cause the date or lettering to appear doubled, off-center strikes that misalign the coin's design, die cracks that create raised lines, or even the holy grail, major striking anomalies that transform the coin into a true one-of-a-kind collectible. These are the coins that sell for $10,000, $20,000, $60,000, and yes, the best examples have crossed into the $216,000 range in today's collector market, commanding prices that seem impossible for a modern coin. And yet, collectors pay it. Why? Because rarity drives value, and in the world of numismatics, rarity combined with modern demand is a perfect storm for rapid price growth. You might be wondering, if these coins are so valuable, why haven't you heard more about them? Because the people who profit the most quietly understand the power of knowledge. They know that the only difference between someone who accidentally spends a fortune at the grocery store and someone who cashes in on a six-figure payoff is awareness. Once you start looking closely, you begin seeing opportunities that most people never notice. It's almost like unlocking a new layer in the world around you. But this is where the story gets more personal. Many of the people who discover valuable pennies aren't seasoned collectors. They're individuals just like you. Maybe they were cleaning out an old purse. Maybe they emptied a change jar before moving to a new home. Maybe they were facing financial pressure and decided to search for something, anything of value. Some found coins that paid off credit cards, funded home repairs, or allowed them to step into the life they'd always envisioned. It's funny how a 1-cent coin can end up becoming the hero of a financial comeback story. Right now, the collector market for modern errors is hotter than ever. The demand is rising and prices follow demand. When a market like this gains momentum, the smart move is to get in early, before the wave crests. Think about where you were financially 10 years ago. What if you had spotted an opportunity then that was growing in value today? The 2016 penny represents that moment in real time. A modern coin, still circulating, still accessible, still discoverable. But for how long? When collectors recognize that supply is shrinking, for example, because more people are suddenly hunting for these pennies, prices can jump almost overnight. And the fear of missing out becomes very real. Not the internet meme kind of FOMO, but the serious kind. The kind that makes you realize someone else might find the six-figure coin you could have had in your own hands. That's the urgency we're dealing with. But let's slow down for a moment because I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself grabbing a small handful of change from a drawer. Nothing special. You tilt the coins in the light, the way collectors do, checking the date, 2016. And then, something catches your eye. A doubling on the letters. A misalignment on the rim. A raised line through Lincoln's profile. Your heart beats a little faster. What if it is one of the rare ones? Imagine walking into an auction house with a coin that cost you nothing, literally nothing, and walking out with a check that could upgrade your entire life. Wealth isn't always built through big, complicated moves. Sometimes, it starts with a single decision to look carefully. And if you're thinking, what are the odds? Consider this. Every rare coin discovered was once just an ordinary coin someone decided to examine. People win because they look. The ones who never check, never win. Simple as that. The 2016 no-mint mark penny also serves as a powerful symbol. It reminds us that wealth doesn't always appear dressed in luxury. Sometimes it arrives disguised as something plain, something overlooked, something as common as a penny. How many opportunities in life have appeared ordinary at first glance? How many passed by because no one took the time to look closer? Now, before we reach the end, there's something important you should know. Some of the most valuable error coins were found years after they were minted, meaning that right now, in homes across America, in jars, in storage bins, in forgotten places, there are still rare 2016 pennies waiting to be discovered. And if history repeats itself, the earlier you start searching, the higher the chances of finding one before collectors swallow up the remaining supply. The window is open today, but windows don't stay open forever. And here's the final thought I want to leave you with, something that might stay with you long after this video ends. Wealth doesn't always come from a new job, an inheritance, or a lucky investment. Sometimes it comes from awareness, from curiosity, from taking action when everyone else stays passive. You don't need special skills to look through your coins. You don't need money to start. All you need is willingness. Because the next person who finds a rare 2016 penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars could be a collector, or it could be you. The choice to look is yours. The opportunity is real, and the clock is ticking. Now, before you leave, take one last look at that jar of coins you haven't touched in years. Who knows? You might be holding your next step toward a wealthier life, hidden in the smallest place imaginable. A single penny from 2016. Welcome back. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into your change jar, and discovering a single penny that could change the rest of your life. A coin worth not just a few dollars, not even a few thousand, but potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some rare cases, even soaring into the millions. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a story someone tells at a family barbecue. Yet the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has done exactly that for a few lucky collectors, with verified sales reaching an astonishing $219,000. And today, you're about to learn why this modern penny, one most people ignore, lose in their couch, or toss into a tip jar, has become one of the most unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight. It all begins with the simple truth we so often forget. Wealth doesn't always come from giant leaps. Sometimes it's a quiet, unassuming coin that almost nobody notices. The 2019 penny was minted by the millions, scattered across the country, slipped into wallets and store drawers, each one looking identical at first glance. No shining silver, no golden shimmer, no dramatic design announcing its value. But beneath that small copper-plated surface lies a growing wave of demand, scarcity, and the kind of collector frenzy most people never see coming. And the question that should be forming in your mind right now is simple. Could one of these be hiding in your home at this very moment? Before we go deeper, let's clear something up. Not every 2019 penny is valuable. If it were, everyone watching this would be on a private beach right now, sipping something expensive and wondering which luxury car to buy next. The secret lies in a few rare conditions: unexpected errors, microscopic details, and minting anomalies that create a perfect storm of collector obsession. These anomalies have pushed elite buyers to pay six-figure prices for a coin most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. And if that doesn't make you want to check your pockets right now, I don't know what will. But the rise of the 2019 no-mint Mark penny is not just about error coins. It's a story about timing. When a modern coin suddenly skyrockets in value, collectors become alert, investors become strategic, and everyday people suddenly start asking, what else have I overlooked? Scarcity is powerful, and demand fuels urgency. The moment word spreads that a basic penny is selling for the price of a luxury home, people begin scrambling, searching drawers, digging through jars, flipping through old collections they haven't touched in years. Some even go as far as purchasing boxes of unsearched rolls from banks. Why? Because the fear of missing out can be just as strong as the excitement of striking it rich. And that urgency only grows when stories begin to surface. A young couple selling a 2019 Lincoln penny for six figures. A collector discovering a flawless specimen tucked away in a batch of spare change. A retiree who used to stack pennies casually and suddenly finds that one of them could cover a year of mortgage payments. Every one of these stories fuels the next collector's dream, the next seller's hope, and the next buyer's motivation. But what exactly makes these exceptional pennies so valuable? Now this is where the details matter. The coins that have reached six-figure territory share certain characteristics. Pristine condition, near-perfect strikes, dramatic errors like off-center stamping, die cracks, or doubling that even the untrained eye can see with a bit of light and patience. Some feature dramatic, retained die breaks or subtle doubling in the letters of liberty or the date. These aren't flaws, they're signatures, rare fingerprints that collectors chase with a passion. And here's the twist that keeps everyone on edge. Even experts still don't know how many of these high-value examples are out there. This mystery is what drives the market, creates anticipation, Collectors want them. Investors want them. And people like you, people searching for opportunity, feel the pull of possibility. Because what if you already own one and you just haven't looked closely enough? Now, you might be wondering, if these coins are so small and easy to overlook, how do you know you're looking at something valuable? The answer is patience. The first step is to examine the coin under good light. Look for clean surfaces, sharp edges, and any unusual marks or doubling. A tiny difference can mean a giant jump in value. And no, you don't need to be an expert at first. Many people who found six-figure pennies had no clue what they were looking at initially. They simply paid attention and took the next step. Once you think you've found something interesting, the real process begins. This is where you send the coin for professional grading. Yes, grading costs money, but when a coin can go from being worth a few cents to worth a new home, it's an investment worth making. And here's the exciting part. Every year the number of high-grade coins available drops, because once they're graded and bought, they vanish into private collections. Scarcity increases, prices rise, and the window of opportunity becomes just a little smaller. This is why the 2019 Lincoln penny has become such a hot target. It represents exactly the kind of opportunity people dream about. Small risk, massive upside, and a very short window before the market matures. Serious collectors are already moving fast. Investors are sweeping up high-grade examples. Auction trends show steady increases, and that $219,000 sale? Many experts believe it won't hold the record for long. They're predicting new highs, maybe even the next $1 million modern penny. Now think about that for a moment. A penny minted only a few years ago could become the most valuable modern coin in circulation. Isn't that wild? Isn't that the kind of market you want to be involved in before it explodes? Still, many people hesitate. They fear getting it wrong. They fear missing out. They fear the unknown. But fear is also a tool. It wakes us up, pushes us to act before the opportunity fades. And this is one of those moments where the people who act quickly, confidently, and intelligently stand to gain the most. If you've made it this far into the video, it's because a part of you knows this might be your chance. Maybe you have jars of coins sitting somewhere untouched for decades. Maybe a family collection was handed down to you. Maybe you've always been curious but never took that first step. Opportunities don't announce themselves. They whisper. And this is one of those whispers that could turn into a life-changing moment if you pay attention to. So right now, ask yourself, what would you do if you found a penny worth $219,000? How would it change your life? Would you pay off debts? Invest in a business? Buy a dream home? Treat your family? Or simply enjoy the freedom of knowing you made a discovery that most people only fantasize about? The possibilities are endless, but the path is simple. Start searching. Start looking carefully. Start paying attention to the coins that most people ignore. Because somewhere out there, another 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is waiting to be discovered. And someone is going to find it. The only question left hanging is, will it be you?